So shall I repeat all the statements what I have I discussed, or it is okay?
So briefly, once again.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So CAD tools, CAD is nothing but it is a computer-aided design. In our like vacuum tubes and transistors are our first electronic components. After the development of the integrated circuit, we have small scale integration, medium scale, large scale, and the medium scale technology is a bit sophisticated than small scale integration, and the designers have felt to develop in a single chip a large number of functionalities. So in order to achieve these things, there is definitely a necessity to place a large number of logic gates in the same area of the chip. So which led to the large scale integration. Okay, so at this process, the designers had felt all these like placing a large number of logical gates or breadboard is bit tidy and time consuming and involves manpower. So the designers had felt some automation is required. Next, electronic design automation is came into the existence. Now, where what happened with the help of this electronic design automation, that is, uh, all the things now become automated, like developing the circuit and verifying the functionality of a circuit or design. All these things become automated. Who is taking care of all this automation? Again, CAD tools, that is computer aided design. All these CAD tools will be taking care of designing the circuit as well as verifying the functionality of the circuit. So what is happening now with the help of this EDA, now the VLSI technology had came into a very big boom, such that where a large number of more than 1 million logical gates got placed in the same single chip area. Okay, like in the same area, how small scale integration to medium scale and to large scale and to VLSI, all how it is happened is it is based on the Moore's law. So the CAD techniques, that is the computer aided techniques, became critical for designing as well as for verifying the digital circuit or the digital electronic hardware. So now these CAD tools are responsible for automation. That means for automatically placing the blocks or modules and routing the modules and developing the layouts for all your designs. The CAD tool will be taking the responsibility. Now, so previously in your VLSI, you might have studied like schematic development, after that stick diagram, next layout development. So all these things, the foremost designers use it to develop by hand. With the help of the CAD tools, all the automation is taking place. That means your computer-aided design tools, which may be Xilinx or Minter Graphics or Cadence tools, they only automatically or assisting you to develop your design. They are assisting you to verify the functionality of your design, and they are assisting you to create the layout. So after the layout, we will be sending it to the foundries for our like realizing our integrated circuit, which is a hardware part. So this is how our CAD tool plays a major role in developing any integrated circuit. Is this clear, my everyone?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay. Now, so like in our VLSI subject, if you want to design any integrated circuit, you people use it to pick an enormous number of NMOS transistors and PMOS transistors and interconnecting them with wires. And like if you want to supply like energy, you use it to make with power rails, that is VDD and VSS, right? That means for developing an integrated circuit, definitely you are going to start with a schematic. But coming to our digital design, we don't require any kind of placing any transistors or picking transistors and connecting them. So how this hardware description language? So I am having a language that is only describing your digital circuit. For example, previously if I have assisted you to design a full adder means you use it to connect a large number of NMOS and PMOS transistors. But if the same question if I have assigned to a digital designer, he will be simply writing the program code in 3 or 4 lines and he will be getting me the circuit. So that is what the specialty of the hardware description language is having. So, what is this HDL is? This HDL stands for, it is a hardware description language where we know previously that Fortran, Pascal, and C are used to describe a computer programs, right? So all these languages were very sequential in nature. That means one by one they are got executed. But so what happened in digital design field, designers, as in the computer side, we do have the software engineers. In the same area, digital design field, we have the hardware designers. They had felt there should be a standard language that will describe your digital circuit. So that means the language is highly required here for describing your digital hardware or digital IC. That language is called here hardware description language. Nothing but it is a formal description of your electronic circuit. So like this HDL describes your circuit. That means how each and every circuit, like inside, because circuit I am telling means a circuit is not, don't assume it is only a transistors. For example, if you are designing a full adder is a big module. Inside my full adder I am having 2 submodules. What are the submodules in the full adder? Anyone?
Are you referring gates, sir?
No, I'm not referring with gate. I'm referring with submodules. Gate is it is a leaf module, I can say, because I am having here a full adder. A full adder is developed by
Half adders?
yes, exactly. So a full adder is developed by 2 half adders, right? So 2 half adders means first half adder output is serving as input to second half adder. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. One of the output of your first half adder is serving as input for your second half adder. That means here how the data is flowing between the submodules. Okay, your hardware description language will take care of that. Okay, and as well as the circuit operation, like how if I am sending this data, what will be the expected output data? Like ABC are the inputs for your full adder, and sum and carry will be the output. So what like if ABC, I can give 8 different values from 000 to 0111. So correspondingly, how will be my sum and how will be my carry? All these things your hardware description language will taking care of. That means designing the circuit and analyzing its internal architecture of the circuit also HDL will take care of, and as well as verifying the circuit also your HDL only will take care of all these things. So what is this HDL? This HDL is came into existence in 1983 at Gateway Design Automation. So after the HDL, Verilog HDL came into existence, immediately VHDL was developed by the DARPA organization. Of course, both Verilog and VHDL both are the hardware description languages, but most of the engineers or most of the designers always prefer to use Verilog language, as it is having a many number of advantages when compared to VHDL. Okay, so it is always important like to design any logical circuit in easier way. That is why Verilog is preferred. So of course, anyway, the Verilog and VHDL had gained acceptance by the hardware designers, where the digital circuits were developed in less amount of time. Why? Because if let me go with the same full adder example only. I have chosen two designers here. One is the schematic designer and one is the digital designer. So the schematic designer, what he will do, he will start picking the transistors like NMOS and PMOS, and at the same time, he completes the full adder design in 5 minutes or 10 minutes. Only one bit full adder I am talking about. If the same one bit full adder, if I have assigned it to my digital designer, he will be completing the code in 30 seconds amount of time, in less than 30 seconds amount of time. So that makes your HDL a vital in designing your digital design. Okay, so like a hardware description language is mainly used to design the digital circuits which are operated concurrently. That means their operation is always parallel in nature. These software programming languages, you know that. My question for you: Pascal or C or any other Fortran or any other Java computer programming languages are there. Thus, they provide at what time particular instruction got executed. Like, for example, I have started executing the program now. So at 2 seconds, second line got executed. At 5 seconds, fourth line got executed. Does your software programming languages convey these timing information? Anyone? Narama?
Don't think so, sir.
Okay. Anyone? Anyone?
No, sir, it will not provide.
Yeah, it will not provide, right. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah. Now we are having an advantage with this hardware description language. They provide us the capability to explicitly express the system time. Okay. So this is one of the advantage of using the hardware description language. So we do have here categorized HDL into two types, that is Verilog and VHDL. So what is the main differences between Verilog and VHDL? We will see. So VHDL is developed completely based on the Pascal language, and Verilog is completely dependent on C language. In VHDL, we are having a lot of data types, where in Verilog, a small or a less number of data types we can able to find. And this VHDL is actually a complex language. And because you know that the C language is a bit easier when compared to Pascal. And we do have here in the VHDL side, all full design will be getting parameterized. That means parameters we need to use here for developing our digital circuit. But coming to Verilog, we doesn't have any parameters. We can go with the simple parameters, I can say. And the last one, the VHDL is very consistent. What is this consistent is nothing but the code written and simulated in one simulator. Simulator is nothing but we need to verify the functionality of circuit. That means we call it as a simulation. Whether the circuit is operating, whether the circuit is functionally correct or not. Okay, so consistent is the code written and simulated in one simulator will behave exactly the same in another simulator. That means the code will run in another simulator also. The VHDL code will run in any of the simulator. But coming to Verilog, it is not consistent. That means the code written in one simulator, it will behave differently in another simulators. That is the main differences between VHDL and Verilog. Only the thing why designers are using Verilog is it is a easier language and can be developed the design in very less amount of time. This is a digital design flow. So from top to bottom, I will move. Design specification is nothing but generally it is a document that describes the functionality, how your final solution, like how your integrated circuit. Because for example, if I am giving to my designer, please develop me a RAM chip that is of 8 GB capacity. Okay, that means I need to have my particular RAM chip to occupy some amount of area and it have to consume some amount of power. And these are the constants what I am going to give to my designer. So these are nothing but the specification. So the specification is nothing but it is a document that gives me the functionalities like how your final solution have to be or how your final product have to be. That means I am keeping here a set of constraints. Okay, this is about design specification and behavioral description. So behavioral description, sometimes I may call it as a functional design. The development of this is carried out in an hierarchical approach. So a single designer cannot concentrate on a portion of the module at any given time. For example, if I have asked my hardware designers, please develop me a system on chip for my mobile phone. That means my system on chip may have a processor, may have a memory unit, may have a timer unit, may have an audio chip, video chip, camera chip, all these things are there. A single engineer cannot take care of entire things. So what he will do, he will just divide the work into his subordinates such that the entire work will be getting distributed. Okay, so each and every engineer, sub-engineer will take care of perfectly designing each and every chip, and he will hand over, all the sub-engineers will hand over the designed sub-modules to the main engineer, and he will connect each and every module to achieve the required functionality of system on chip for a mobile phone. That means architectural description I am providing here, where a portion or a partition of the design is into distinct modules is done, where each and every engineer contributes a specific functionality to develop the overall design. Okay, after the hardware engineer, after the main hardware engineer, as soon as he received all the sub-modules which have their unique functionality, he will complete the entire design by appending some input-output interfaces and like between the modules, all these things, and he will be doing the routing, and the rest of the things he will take care of. So that is about the behavioral description. Anyone can respond, ma? If you are having doubt, please respond here itself. I just revising the concept.
It is clear, sir.
Clear, okay. No boys, 69 members I can able to see.
Carry on, sir.
Okay.
Fine,
So,
fine, sir.
okay. RTL design. So as of now, behavioral description is completed. Now what is this architecture? This architectural description is there. That means I am having a bigger module, inside I am having some smaller modules, sub-modules. So architectural description is refined with memory elements and functional components for each and every module. So all these submodules are in turn defined or described in hardware description language. So at this stage, all the submodules are developed by this RTL, that is register transfer level. So all the submodules are being described in an hardware description language. They are converted into an RTL description, that is register transfer level. For example, if I am having a 4-bit up counter or 4-bit triple carry counter, that means I am having here 4 different flip-flops, right? So if it is an asynchronous counter, that means the output of one flip-flop is serving as input to other flip-flop. In this way, all the 4 flip-flops are getting connected with each other. So shall I say that each and every flip-flop are treated here as a registers? That means if I am developing an integrated circuit of counter, for example, this counter is made up of flip-flops. So generally flip-flop is nothing but it is a single bit register. That means it is storing a single bit value. So this RTL description is not of the counter circuit is how the designer is describing the data is flowing between one register to other register is nothing but your RTL description, which in turn defined in hardware description language only. That means each and every module, how they are getting connected. That is your RTL description. Is it clear about RTL description, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good.
Come again, sir.
Okay, I am having an integrated circuit. For example, if I want to design an integrated circuit chip, that is a counter, only simple counter. It counts the values. Like for example, how many number of persons are entering into the room. A sensor usually takes care of this job. But at the back of your sensor, I am having an integrated circuit. Okay, that is responsible for counting operation. Counting is nothing but generally what you people have knowledge. It is a 4-bit counter, like a asynchronous counter or ripple carry counter. So each and every ripple carry counter is made up of developed by some flip-flops. Can I consider these flip-flops as a single bit registers? So that means at the first clock pulse, all the flip-flops will not receive the input. At second clock pulse, some of the flip-flops may not receive. At third clock pulse, one flip-flop may not receive the input. At fourth clock pulse, all the flip-flops will be receiving the input. That means here each and every flip-flop output is getting connected with each and every flip-flop's input. This is what it is, register transfer level. The data is flowing, the data is flowing between one register to other register, or the data is flowing between one module to other module. This is nothing but RTL description, register transfer level. The data is transferring between different levels or different modules or different registers. Again, these are defined in hardware description. Okay. So the next is RTL verification or functional verification. Once I have designed my counter circuit, what I need to do, whether my counter is performing or giving me the required functionality, like for example, 0, 0, 0, 0 to 1, 1, 1, 1. That means 16 levels does it giving me or not? It is nothing but my RTL verification or functional verification. That is acquiring a reasonable confidence that my designed circuit is functionally correct or not is nothing but verification. So sometimes we call it as a simulating the design, simulating the circuit. Next, the most important concept comes here is logical synthesis. So what is this logical synthesis? Can anyone explain me? Because you might have learned in your VLSI subject, no?
Conversion into logic gates, sir.
Conversion into logical gates. Okay, right. Okay, logical synthesis is nothing but there will be a synthesis tools in our EDA. So what it will do, it will convert the RTL description. That means I have written the code or I have developed my design in some description language. That synthesis tool will convert whatever the code I have written in English or in any textual format will be getting converted into a gate level net list. So a gate level netlist is nothing but it is a description of my circuit in terms of logical gates or in terms of a modules and interconnecting each and every logical gate between them. Interconnections between all the logical gates or all the modules. It is nothing but gate level netlist. Okay, once I have like acquired my gate level netlist, again I need to verify. That means each and every gate is connected with each and every other gate properly by using a wire or not. Because whenever we are connecting, there may be a chance of breakage of wires. So any stuck-at faults are present, any stuck-at zeros are present. All these things are also I need to take care of. That means I need to verify the gate level netlist also. We call this as a logical verification. So what is happening here? This logical synthesis tool ensures that the gate level netlist is in accordance with the RTL description. One thing, okay? So now we have to perform again the verification for your gate level netlist. So from here, starting from the synthesis to your layout designing or creating, all the things will be highly taken care by the CAD tools only, because we are not going to take any responsibility for designing any layout, for designing for floor planning or placement of blocks or for routing. We are not going to take care of any of the things. All the things your computer aided design will take care of. Now, what is happening? The synthesis model or the gate level netlist have to be verified. So before also we have done the verification, and here also we have done the verification. Why we are doing twice the verification? Before synthesis and after synthesis is nothing but I am having an objective that my RTL verification gives me the same results, and gate level verification also give me the same result. Is I need to cross check. If it is giving me the same results, I am going to call my design is functionally correct. My obtained gate level netlist is functionally correct. We call this process as equivalency checking. So that means I am checking, I'm getting the equal results. So I'm calling it as an equivalence checking. That is to guarantee that no errors have been introduced during the process of synthesis. Understood? So after this one, is it clear up to here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And next what happens? CAD tools will take care of everything I have told you. So automatic activity. It is an automatic activity where minimum human interaction is involved. That means RTL description is converted into post-synthesis gate level description. Okay, after that one, because of the CAD tool, automatic placement, floor planning, routing, all these things will be taken care in the tool itself only. So everything the tool will take care of. Finally, we are going to get a layout, and once we have got a layout, again once again we need to verify the layout, whether this layout is also giving me the required functionality or not. Okay, so once the layout is verified, what the immediate next action we do? We send it to the foundries. Okay, we definitely send to the foundries, and the process of fabrication will take place there. Okay, this is one step, but this is according to your ASIC flow. But here I am having implementation. I don't have here, like you can see in this diagram. In this diagram, sorry, in the first diagram, yes, in the first diagram, you can able to see a package or a die. It is there, right? A package or a die is there. But here I don't have any package or die. I simply have here the implementation. So what is this implementation? Here, because this is a digital design flow, once a gate level netlist is created, automatically my tool will create floor planning, placement and routing and some kind of a layout. Along with these things, my tool will going to is going to generate a programming bit file. That bit file I am going to dump on my FPGA board or CPLD board or PLDs. We call it as a PLD. That is programmable logical devices, where the user is going to dump whatever the program he have written. He is going to dump on the FPGA board. That means he is doing here the hardware verification. Once the program is being dumped onto the chip or onto the board, FPGA board, so what happened? We do the verification, hardware verification. That's it. So this is about digital design flow. Once you go through this slide, everyone. Shall I move to the next slide now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, remaining students, can I move? Or if you are having any doubt, you can ask here itself. Because ASIC design flow is different, digital design flow is different now. In the digital design flow, the last stage will be the implementation. In the ASIC design flow or VLSI design flow, it is different. What is it? What is the last VLSI design flow?
It is the package.
Yes, it is IC realization. But in the digital design flow, it is hardware implementation. We are going to generate a bit file after the synthesis. So that bit file will be dumped onto your FPGA boards, and we are cross-checking the functionality of the design whatever we have developed. Is it clear?
Sir, once explain the behavioral description.
Behavioral description is nothing but can I explain in simple words, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
If I have told you to design to get me a Redmi Note 9 Pro, okay, so inside your Redmi Note 9 Pro mobile phone, you are having an SoC board or a motherboard. Inside your motherboard, you are having enormous number of integrated circuits. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so in this each and every IC, that means an IC may be a processor, it may be a memory, or it may be an ADC, it may be a voice chip, it may be a microphone, it may be a speaker, or it may be a camera IC, and it may be some kind of different ICs will be there, amplifier, sound amplifier, all these things will be there in your system on chip board, right? So are you only the single person who are designing entire ICs of your system on chip board?
Definitely not, sir.
Definitely. So what you are going to do here is you will be standing as a main engineer, okay, and taking care of the main design. So what you do here is you bifurcate the task of this heavy task into a subtask. That means a bigger module is divided into an enormous number of small modules, such that each and every small module is assigned to each and every sub-engineer who will be the subordinate for you, and they will be like without any errors developing the design, and finally they are going to hand over the design or the product to you. That means to analyze, you are doing here, you are analyzing the bigger module functionality. First thing is, so and this bigger module, how it is developed by enormous number of smaller modules. So each and every smaller module is having its own functionalities again. That will be taken care by again these engineers only, which engineers, sub engineers. So all this process is happening hierarchically. Am I right? Yes or no? Hierarchically, that means the work is being distributed. So after the work is done, that means after many number of sub modules have been developed or realized, by your hardware description language only they will be realized. So each and every submodule are getting connected. That means how the data is flowing between one submodule to other submodule. Like transferring of data, register transfer levels, we call it as a register transfer. I mean, the concept is register transfer level description, we call it as a. Because this RTL description is developed by using HDL only. That means each and every submodules are developed or written in HDL only. That is why it is RTL description. Understood?
Sir, is simply the relation between one tool and other tool like that?
అర్థం కాలే.
Article description means simply relation between the tools like.
టూల్స్ అన్నట్టు ఇప్పుడు
You
బ్లాక్స్
said
అనాలి.
camera tool.
అట్లా ఆ టూల్ అనకూడదమ్మా ఇప్పుడు.
yes.
ఇప్పుడు అవన్నీ సిస్టమ్ అని చెప్పి పైన ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి అవన్నీ మాడ్యూల్స్ ఐసీస్ అంటాం. సో ఒకదానికి ఒకటి కనెక్ట్ చేయాలి అంటే డేటా అనేది ఎలా రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటుంది ఒక మాడ్యూల్, అదే డేటా ఒక మాడ్యూల్ నుంచి ఎలా అవుట్పుట్ ఎలా వస్తుంది. ఓకే, అంటే హౌ ద డేటా ఈస్ ఫ్లోయింగ్ బిట్వీన్ వన్ రిజిస్టర్ టు అనదర్ రిజిస్టర్ డిస్క్రైబ్స్ యువర్ ఆర్టికల్. For your understanding purpose, I have used this example.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So this is okay, right? Digital design. Any more doubts?
Yes, sir.
Let me take a class for more 10-15, up to 10-15 I will take.
So this is only used for a particular application.
Which one?
This one, this design, hardware design.
Not for, see ma, that is why I am telling you, VLSI design flow, the final stage is implementation or realizing an integrated circuit. Here, our final stage is implementation on the FPGA board. All the process will be remain same, 85 to 90% the process will be same only. We are not using like for a particular application, it is generally an integrated circuit development only.
Okay, sir.
Okay, next. For 5 more minutes I will take. So again, just to have a glance, this is again design flow, the same design flow. First thing is design entry. After the specifications I have gathered from the person vendor. The first process I will be doing is design entry, where I can develop my design in two types: schematic entry or design hardware description language entry. Schematic entry, you know, you studied in VLSI. HDL entry is nothing but it is the one what you are going to study in this semester. After that, I am having the logical synthesis tool. You know what is the purpose as it converts the HDL into your gate level netlist. And next is system partitioning, pre-layout simulation, floor planning, placement, routing, extraction, post-layout simulations. All these things will comes into picture. You are having good awareness on system partitioning. Floor planning, placement and routing. Or just read it. If you are having any doubt, you can ask me now.
Difference between VLSI and DSG in simple words.
Simple words means thing is designing only amma. Rendu VLSI ante design e. Adi VLSI design it is DSG design. Akkada design ఏంటంటే schematic తో మనం డెవలప్ చేస్తున్నాం డిజైన్స్ ని. ఇక్కడ హార్డ్వేర్ డిస్క్రిప్షన్ లాంగ్వేజ్ యూస్ చేసి డిజైన్ చేస్తున్నాం. అదే టూ మెయిన్ డిఫరెన్సెస్. మిగతా ప్రాసెస్ అంతా సేమ్.
మాన్యువల్ అండ్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్
అంతే, దట్స్ ఇట్. ఇది నేను అంతా రివైజ్ చేస్తున్నాను, రీక్యాప్ చేస్తున్నాను ఈ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అనేవి. జస్ట్ రివిజన్ మాత్రమే, ఇంకా నేను స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాను. ఇక్కడ డిజైన్ ఎంట్రీ అనేది ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఇక్కడ మనకు ఇవన్నీ మీరు ఆల్రెడీ యూ పీపుల్ హ్యావ్ లెర్న్డ్ ఇన్ VLSI సబ్జెక్ట్. ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ లెర్న్డ్ ఇన్ VLSI సబ్జెక్ట్. ఎనీహౌ ఫర్ జస్ట్ రీక్యాపింగ్ or like reminding you what are the things that you came across in the subject. I just wanted to revise. So this is the design entry where I can develop my design by schematic entry or using a VHDL or Verilog language. And logical synthesis will take care of converting the RTL description into a gate level netlist. You can see here. And the next, once my gate level netlist is formed, system partitioning. That means in order like how to partition the system, like a large ASIC blocks or a large module is subdivided and how they are getting partitioned. Okay, after partitioning, they are to be arranged on a given floor. Like for example, I am having a house, a east face house I am having here. So in my house, floor planning where my master bedroom should be, where my hall is located, where my washroom should be located, where my kitchen have to be located. All these things are nothing but it is a floor planning. Similarly, in the VLSI also, we do here the floor planning for our chip. After system partitioning, we do here the floor planning. Once the floor planning is done, we will like place the blocks in the respective floor planning alignment. Okay, so like in the system partitioning, I have a module of like for example, just take a house only. A living room module is there, a kitchen module is there, a hall module is there. All this being partitioned. So after having the floor planning, all these blocks are placed on your floor. That process is nothing but placement. So after the placement, what each and every room have to be connected with each other. So here the connections are taken care by the wiring resources or wires. Okay, so this process is nothing but routing. So like during the process of routing, as soon as the routing stage is completed, there may be some parasitic resistances and capacitances will be developed across each and every connection, in between each and every connection. So that means circuit extraction, RNC extraction we call it as. So after the RNC extraction, again, I want to verify the design. That means for my given input, I am getting the expected outputs or not. That is nothing but post layout simulation, because this part is like combinedly giving me a layout from floor planning to routing, circuit extraction. All these things I can able to find out as a final product as a layout. So this layout have to be verified, for which I am going to call this a simulating the layout or post layout simulation. That means I am getting the expected outputs for the given inputs. Once the layout is verified, we go for a integrated circuit fabrication by sending it to foundries, or if I want to do hardware verification means parallelly I am going to generate a bit file that will be then put into your FPGA hardware here. Okay, this is the process, brief process. So up to this stage, so up to the logical synthesis, and here up to here I'm going to partitioning. I'm going to call it as a logical design, and from floor planning onwards up to the last, I'm going to call it as a physical design. The layout part, like the process which creates the layout is a physical design, and the process which develop the program is a logical design. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. From here, the subject comes into picture. This is our subject now. Verilog HDL is our subject. All the concepts, whatever I have discussed, is just for recap purpose. This is our subject now. Shall I continue?
Sir, we will continue it tomorrow, sir.
Definitely. No issue. Okay.
Thank you, sir.